Welcome to the Real Estate Espresso Podcast, your morning shot of what's new in the world of real estate investing. I'm your host, Victor Menashe. This is the weekend edition where we interview notable people from the world of real estate investing. Today is no exception. We have a great guest all the way from Dallas-Fort Worth. Welcome to the show, Cody Payne.
Hey, Victor. Thanks for having me.
Well, great to have you here. Now, Cody, you're in the industrial space, Palm Bay, to be specific, and excited to have this conversation. But perhaps before we do, maybe give a little bit of your backstory and how you got to this point in your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I started about 20 years ago, and I was actually a leasing agent. I leased flex space, so, office warehouses, and, been in the small bay business for a long time. And, slowly we, graduated to investment sales, built a really good team here of guys. We've been together a long time. And, we do market feasibility, site analysis work, and investment sales of small bay industrial all across the U.S. And so as it's continued to gain more and more traction, we deal with a lot of people from quite a few other asset classes that are coming over to diversify.
One of the things we've certainly seen about this segment is that there's been very little of it built in, maybe a couple of decades. And a lot of the product in the market, some of it's disappeared, it's been repurposed, it's been demolished for, who knows, residential, retail. And so there's shrinking inventory, increasing demand. Some of it has been turned into, gyms. Some of it's been turned into last mile logistics. So the traditional tenant for a small bay product is looking for something that's increasingly scarce.
Yes, and with the booming tenant base too, you got to keep in mind, COVID really helped out quite a bit because now you got all these e-commerce people, these commercial kitchens, ghost kitchens, fitness studios, things of that nature. There's a lot, and the entrepreneur is very big and alive and well, more than it was, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And so you've got a huge need across the board, not just from your typical subcontractor base, which was the main base, 20 years ago when I got started. It was mostly electricians, landscapers, plumbers, people of that nature. Now it's just a very wide expanded tenant pool, and that's what's helped out the product type the most, I believe, is that expanding tenant pool.
And now in a lot of cases, the value add play, if I can call it that, is to take buildings that have been maybe collecting under market rents for a long time and just bring them up to market rent. Why are the sellers not doing that themselves?
Well, it's kind of like what I think multifamily and self-storage ran into a long time ago is for a long time you had these, what a lot of people call mom and pop owners that have owned the product and just have not kept up with it. Also keep in mind for a long time, they were just gross leases too. They just started getting a lot more prevalent on triple net, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And so you still have a lot of mom and pop, smaller localized owners that have not kept up with the market rental rate increases or sometimes the conversion to triple net. And so that's why there's still so much opportunity in it because of that fragmented ownership.
One of the things we're seeing in the market, not just, of course, in small bay, but there are a lot of businesses that are owned by a generation that are retiring. The kids don't want it. There's no succession plan. Is that one of your major sources of these properties?
We do see a lot of that as well, because, these can be not highly management intensive, but, as not always, whoever it's being passed down to through generations, not everybody wants to be in the real estate industry, right? And so you do have a little bit of that, but you do have a lot of, people looking to develop these parks all across the country and have been. And there's a lot of people that are taking advantage of building it, leasing it, and selling it today as well.
When I think about the product that's being built, there's certainly tons, especially in Dallas-Fort Worth, my goodness, lots of large bay, 38-foot, 40-foot ceilings, 300,000 to 1 million plus square feet. That's clearly not the right product. But then there's also a certain amount of mid-bay where they're easily subdivided into 30 to 50,000 square feet. Still too big for a lot of these target clients. But do you see opportunities to convert some mid-bay product into small bay and enhance the supply? Is that something you've looked at?
We have seen that. It can be a little tough because you got to keep in mind small bay is traditionally, under 5,000 square foot units, and a lot of times it's barely 2,000 square feet. And
Right.
so what people run into on the conversion side is the depths of some of the older warehouses when they look to do it. Now we have seen it, but sometimes if the depths are too far, right, you kind of get into a pencil shaped space, which can be tough for a business to run out of because a lot of times they want to be at least 25, 30 feet wide. And if the depth is, 100 feet deep, it's really hard to do that to keep the square footage friendly. And so it's very specific on conversions, but we have seen it. We have seen them be very successful as well.
I love it. Now, when we think about any investment, there's really a few variables, a few major variables. The rest is a rounding error. What are the things that are driving the business today? Obviously, capital cost has to figure largely in it. Are you seeing property taxes, insurance? What else is driving the business in terms of major variables that would determine something pencils or not?
Your biggest thing with small bay is going to be taxes and insurance. Those are two of the largest expenses for these industrial parks. That's why so many people are looking for projects that they can buy that are triple net or convert to triple net to help have that tenant reimburse it to kind of take that load off of the expense side. But as far as other expenses on there, I mean, you do have common area maintenance. There's not a whole lot traditionally to these parks. It's usually pretty low. And then management fees, those can be anywhere from 3 to 4% of the gross income. But if you're triple net again, those can be passed through in many cases as well.
Absolutely. Well, Cody, if folks want to connect, if they want to learn more, what's the best way?
Yeah, best way, if you want to get in the small bay flex industrial side, we can always help you out. We got a great team here, flexbusinessparks.com. We've got a lot of good resources on there too, to help anybody learn about it. We deal with a lot of cross asset people, so people coming from office, retail, multifamily, self storage. That's kind of one of our big buyer and developer bases right now is people coming from other asset classes. So it's been a lot of fun, and love to connect with anybody on it.
Awesome. Well, Cody, great to catch up. And for the listeners at home, definitely connect with Cody Payne at flexbusinessparks.com. The link will be in the show notes. And in the meantime, have an awesome rest of your weekend. Go make some great things happen. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow.